Hello, this is the Manchurian General, and today we're going to be doing a video about overlapping armor, or at least a point about overlapping armor. Now, what do I mean by overlapping armor? I mean stuff like Lamellar, Scale, and Brigandine. So, all these armors, one of the things these armors have in common is that they have plates that overlap with each other. Doesn't matter what direction it is, the principal thing is they all overlap each other. Granted, they have different means of holding themselves together. Brigandine, it's riveted to a thing of fabric. The Scale is also attached to a backing, but Lamellar is one of those armors that it doesn't require a backing of sorts. It just requires the lace due to the way it's constructed. Now, some Scale armor also does the whole lacing bit, but most commonly, the Scales are fixed to a backing. Brigandines are also fixed to a fabric that gives it its shape and holds it all together. There we go. That's the clarification. Alright, so let's move on to the actual point I'm making in this video. The point I'm going to make in this video is that these types of armors are more easily repairable than armors that are made up of 2 to 1 piece constructions. That's the quick answer. Now, let's clarify a bit. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, you say you have a breastplate, right? You have a whole breastplate. It's made up of a piece of steel or iron that's been worked to the point where it's now a breastplate. But that is made of one single piece of metal. If you puncture or break that piece, that armor is pretty much defunct. You can't really use it anymore. It's not structurally sound anymore. You have to get rid of it or melt it down and make a new piece or make something out of it. That's a problem. It took you a lot of time to produce that, or you paid a lot of money for it. But if it gets pierced, busted through, or cracked, that armor is pretty much unusable anymore. Or it's no longer usable. Dented is another thing. You can work a dent out. You can't really work a crack out. So that's the thing we're going to use. However, with Brigandines, Lamellar, and Scale armors, if a piece goes out, you can always just replace it. Now, these 3 armors, they have their own advantages and disadvantages, and the amount of time it takes to repair one thing over the other. Brigandine, if a couple of Brigandine plates get knocked out or destroyed, you can always just get some new pieces, get the rivets, put it to the spots where they were lost, and then rivet them back in. That's one bit. Scale, you have to, if the pieces go out, you can take new scales, arrange them right, because you gotta get the order and pattern of the scale right, or else it doesn't really work that well, and rivet it back on, or just attach it back onto the fabric backing. Lamellar, though, would be the longest. It would be the longest one to repair out of these 3, because due to how it's constructed, you have to unlace a lot of plates, pretty much disassemble a good bit of the armor just to replace a few plates. You pretty much have to disassemble a lot of the bits of the Lamellar armor to just replace a couple of plates and then relace it back together. So, out of these 3, the Brigandine will take the least amount of time to repair. The Scale also it's tied with Brigandine of being the least amount of time to repair, but Lamellar would take the longest, because you got unlace it, take out the plate, take the new plate, put it back in, relace it back together, and boom. So, but in general, these armors are more easily repairable than something like full plate armor. Because with full plate armor, if a piece goes down, you have to replace the entire thing. Or should I say, if a breastplate gets cracked, pierced through, or broken, you have to replace that whole breastplate. Whereas with if a few Lamellar plates, Scale plates, Brigandine plates go bust, you just need to replace those few plates, and that's it. You don't have to replace the entire thing. And yeah, that's about it. That's my points. Keeping this short, and yeah, see ya.